someone who wants to add this machine to their fleet, someone who wants to own this and work for themselves and do amazing work, and someone who just operates and wants to tell their boss about an amazing machine. That's what this review is about. So what are the machines that we're talking about? Well, we're talking about the 20,000 pound to 25,000 pound range dozers. What does that include? That includes the Caterpillar D3, the Komatsu D39, the John Deere 650P, the Case 850M. Welcome back, everybody, to So Go Whoa Whoa. I know this last while has been a little slow getting content out. I apologize for that. Just been fairly busy in my life. Not that it's a bad busy, it's a great busy actually. But I always love doing this and I always love interacting with you guys. So here we are for our next little bit. I've been wanting to do this video for quite some time. And there's a reason for it, because I always loved, one of my favorite things to operate was a small dozer, a trim cat as we'd call them. The guy that would start earliest and finish last, the one that would make it look pretty at the very end, the one that would turn it into something, that would landscape and manicure and show people what could actually be done with a machine. This is a comparison of some small dozers. For any dealerships out there wanting an honest review on your machines, I'd be more than happy to do it. I have more than 25,000 hours operating different pieces of heavy equipment. Yes, that's right. If you do the math, I never worked 8 to 5 when I operated heavy equipment. I worked from 7 till 6 most days, 7 days a week for as long as you could take it. That's how you accumulate that many hours of experience. The whole point of this video, what I think is going to be your best choice as an operator and as an owner-operator. Someone who's actually looking to buy this piece of machinery to add to their fleet. How many of these have I operated? And have I operated any of the brand new ones? I have not, unfortunately. I haven't operated any of the new within the last couple of years. Now, I know every year can make improvements and changes, and so this will be based on what my experience from previous and from me researching the best I possibly could to find that each brand and each machine is offering today in 2023. Here we go. So what am I going to start with? Well, we might as well start what I would consider to be the most famous company in the world as far as heavy equipment goes, and that's Caterpillar. So let's start with the Caterpillar D3. The Caterpillar D3 comes in standard or LGP, low ground pressure. The Caterpillar D3 can range between 3.9 and 5.7 psi, which means this dozer can actually walk on way softer ground than a human being can. The average 200-pound human being exerts 16 psi, or pounds per square inch, on their feet. These dozers are 4 times less than that, which means they can walk where no person can walk. The Caterpillar D3 has a 104 horsepower engine. It's a Tier 4 Stage 5, which means it meets all the current emission standards. In fact, it even meets the emission standards of Euro, the current Euro standards. It has an operating weight between 20,000 pounds and 22,000 pounds. It has a blade that can be either 9'1" and up to 10.5 feet wide. It has a fuel capacity of 51.5 US gallons, or 195 liters. 13 inches of ground clearance. A hydrostatic transmission. We'll narrow it down and say every one of these dozers, so I don't have to keep repeating this, all have hydrostatic transmissions. And a drawbar pull of around 33,000 pounds. Drawbar pull basically means what that machine can pull, including a ripper. What I do enjoy about the Caterpillar, and I know that many of them still struggle with this, it's just a simple flipping of the valving, but a Caterpillar will always go the same way in reverse as it does in forward. I know that John Deere's and Komatsu's and Cases have struggled with this, where if you're pushing it forward and turning left with your steering control and then immediately just pull straight backwards, it will actually go to the left in reverse. A lot of the Komatsu, the John Deere, and the Case will actually go opposite. So it's something you need to train your brain in regards to do. Now, this is where I believe the Caterpillar lacks a little bit. They have between a 12 and a 24-month warranty. Full coverage, basically, depending on the machine, depending on the terms at which you buy. But basically, 2 years is the most amount of time that they will give you full coverage of the machine. Now they have a plethora of options that you can pay extra for, and it'll cover things up to like 15,000 hours. In fact, most of the manufacturers have these added warranties that you can pay for. It's just the Caterpillar seems to be at the very bottom of the amount of time that they give you free from the factory before you have to start paying for it yourself. Is that bad? It can be. If the machine runs flawlessly, then you really have no issues. If it doesn't, however, you're going to be stuck with some expensive repairs. Serviceability on the Cat D3 is quite easy. You can do it from the ground. In fact, most of these new dozers you can, which is quite nice. You don't have to hop up on the track and risk tripping, risk slipping, risk hurting yourself just to check fluids and those types of things. These are not big dozers. You shouldn't have to be climbing all over them. It's grade control ready. The Cat product link allows you basically track all brands, if compatible, their location, their idle time, their hours, their fuel usage, their productivity, their maintenance, and even their diagnostic codes. Vision Link is a subscription-based app from Caterpillar that allows you to take all that previously mentioned information and put it into one spot so you can actually see the variances on that machine, which helps you manage your fleet much simpler and easier. Does that machine need maintenance? How much fuel is that machine burning? Is it operating at its optimal utilization most times? By monitoring these things, it will tell you. Through this app, you can also remote flash, which means if there's any software updates for the machines, you can do it remotely, which is nice. It's wireless as well. Optional equipment on the Caterpillar D3 is a scalable 2D and 3D slope assist, stable blade, and slope indication. What that does is basically, without any GPS, it will allow you to maintain a slope, maintain a grade by just quickly programming into the machine. It helps with newer, more inexperienced operators, and it also helps with more experienced operators in just reducing fatigue. It does drain you mentally after a while because you are constantly concentrating on what needs to be done. So by allowing the computer to take over in a lot of these menial tasks, it just lets the operators rest a little bit more throughout the day. And I think it's actually a great addition. What I can tell you is that the Caterpillar D3 is capable of basically any type of new GPS equipment that Trimble offers. The Caterpillar D3 can do it. One thing I really like about the new Caterpillar D3 is the optional twin 10-inch monitoring screens. One will be for the system of the machine, oil pressure, coolant, battery, fuel level, slope assist, those types of things. And then the additional 10-inch screen would be for your 3D GPS head units to allow you to have full control GPS units in that machine. They are both in the front dash as well, which I really like. They're built right in that way. It's not an add-on. You don't have to look around. Caterpillar is always known for making it as easy as possible for the operator in the cab. And in fact, I think they're still at the very top of the game in this regard, simply by this. The two 10-inch screens stacked on top of each other. No one else does that. They're the only ones doing that at the moment. The other ones have different screens available and all that, but in this regard, I definitely think the Caterpillar wins when it comes to creature comforts of the operator and just the way it's actually built in. All right, our next one up, the new John Deere 650P is the newest one on their roster. It, again, is 104 horsepower, Tier 4, Stage 5, meets all of US and Euro standards for emissions. Drawbar pull of about 34,000 pounds, which is pretty decent for a dozer its size. Operating weight between 21 and 22,500 pounds. A blade width between 8 3/4 and 10 foot 7 inches wide on the wide pad LGP, obviously. A ground pressure between 4.3 and 6.4 psi, which again, considering the average 200-pound human being is around 16, these things are 4 times less than what a human being is walking around. They have a fuel capacity of one of the largest in the bunch, 53.45 US gallons, or roughly 203 liters. Now, I don't know how the new ones, the brand new ones are. I would say that that's a good thing that they have a bigger tank because I've never seen a John Deere that was really great on fuel in this size of machine. It's not a slight, it's not what I've seen. The J's and the K's were very nice machines, but I know that other machines in the same size, I could operate those in the same way and the same amount of time throughout the day, and the John Deere's just seem to burn more fuel. Serviceability is easy on this one again. You can do it all from the ground, which is nice. It's the way it should be. These are small dozers. Warranty. Now, this one's gonna be my belief the worst in the bunch. 12 months full coverage, and then after that, you're gonna have to buy what they call a structure all type of warranty. Now that gives you various options, but again, you're paying for it. It can go up to 10, 12,000 hours. It's extra. So, for the owner operators, the smaller companies out there, smaller fleets, the John Deere might not be the way to go for you. Warranty is a big issue nowadays, and I'm sorry, but if you're only willing to offer 12 months of full coverage and then after that you're paying for it, especially when there's other manufacturers that offer much better warranty options, I would think you'll find you would probably end up going with a different manufacturer. They're an amazing machine. That being said, they come with Smart Grade, which essentially is the same as the Cat D3, which allows you to program in to slope and to grade a grade on a flat surface, those types of things. Nothing real crazy, but basically to get a surface, to get a slope, to pick a grade without having to have all the additional GPS equipment. You can get JD Link, which is a subscription based, which again monitors everything from your productivity, your hours, your maintenance, your fuel consumption, your efficiencies, basically, so you can actually see what that machine is optimally running at, and when it's not running optimally, it has an optimal 8-inch and 10-inch screen for, again, like the Caterpillar D3, to have one that offers all your machine information, your battery, your fuel consumption, your slope assist, your smart grade, those types of things. And then your other screen would be for your additional GPS unit ready. Now, the John Deere, and I should mention the Caterpillar as well, you can also run Topcom and Leica GPS units. You can run Topcom, Trimble, or Leica on the John Deere as well. The machine comes ready for those types of things to just plug and play, essentially, which is a fantastic option as well. Those things can cost thousands of dollars. Those little savings right there pay huge dividends in the end. Our third one in the line, and I will say one of my favorite to operate, is the Komatsu D39. I find it to be a powerful, fuel efficient, well balanced, comfortable, beautiful little dozer to operate. They've made vast improvements even on their interiors. They've finally switched to the thumb control 6-way, just like the larger D65s. For the first several years of the D39, it was still a twist wrist, which got really hard on your wrist. They have 105 horsepower, Tier 4, Stage 4 certified. They meet all current standards. The differences between Stage 4 and Stage 5 are so slight that you're not having a worse machine by any means by having a Stage 4. They have a drawbar pull, actually some of the lesser one, about 31,000 pound, so they don't pull quite as much, say, with a ripper. They have between an 8'9" and a 10'7" blade. Their ground pressure can be between 3.98 and 6.4 psi, which again, 4 times less than a human being. Ground clearance of about 13 inches. I should mention that most of these dozers as well come with track widths between 18 and 30 inches. It has a fuel capacity of 50.2 gallons or 190 liters. And from my experience, I could operate this machine pretty much 2 days straight, or 2 10-hour shifts, basically non-stop on a tank of fuel. Again, serviceability, easy. You can do it from the ground. The Komatsu D39, I believe, also has probably the best sloped hood in the entire group. You have incredible visibility out of the cab. They just really are a really nice, well-balanced machine. They come with 3 years or 2,000 hours of technician labor warranty. So you have to pay for the parts, but the technician labor, which, let's be honest, can be at least 50% of the cost of a lot of these repairs, you don't have to pay for 3 years or 2,000 hours. It comes with 3 years, 2,000 hours, fluids, oils, filters, and related parts. And it also comes with 3 years, 2,000 hours, regular service intervals fully covered as well. So 250, 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 hours full service on the machine, fully covered from factory. Now again, you can buy additional coverage that ranges up to 15,000 hours if you want. Each machine comes, again, like the Cat and the John Deere, ready to plug and play essentially any of the new modern Trimble, Topcon, or Leica GPS systems. They have what they call the Smart Construction Dashboard as well, which I think is absolutely amazing. In this cloud-based software, you can do 3D design, aerial mapping, machine as as-built, stockpile quantities, generate cut fill mappings for staff, know the amount of material moved each day, and watch your site timeline, including full playback feature. Now, no one else offers anything like this. Of course, there's equipment and all these types of things that go along with this software, but the simple fact that you can actually get a drone and use it with the smart construction dashboard to estimate stockpile quantities or cut fill mappings, that alone in time savings is just astronomical. If you are about to put a bid in on a big project or those types of things, all you need is essentially a drone that you can send out, do some mapping, plug it into the software, and now you can actually give them a real-time legitimate estimation and be able to deliver that for real. Of course, it comes with stable blade and slope indication. Again, just like the John Deere and the Cat D3, you can program it to run a flat grade or to cut a slope without any of the extra GPS equipment, which is very nice. And again, it takes away from the stresses of an operator's day from always having to be on in your mind. It does lack in some of the creature comforts. The additional optional 8-inch screen is mounted on top of the dash and kind of in your way, the sight line of your front window. The 6-inch screen that's offered to monitor your systems is the smallest of the bunch, and it is dated. That screen hasn't changed in years. It needs a vast overhaul in technology. Again, the 8-inch screen that's mounted on top of the dash it's like an add-on. It's like they never thought to design it into the Dozer. Someone thought of it afterwards. And again, that Caterpillar really shines in this area. By all means, if you hear anything that I've gotten wrong here in this video, put it in the comments, let me know, because I do not like to give you guys false information. Our fourth one on the list. Now this one's a little bit different because it's actually, from the number, you would think it would be substantially larger, but its operating weight is in this weight class and its horsepower is roughly in this class as well. Now the Case 850M, it's 105 horsepower, tier 4 final certified. Again, final is essentially a stage 4, which is essentially a stage 5. I can make a whole video on that. I'm not going to. Let's just say it's regarding emissions and how much emissions are allowed out of the engine. They remove a lot of the emissions going back into our atmosphere, which is a good thing. This machine has an operating weight between 21 and 23,000 pounds, and it has by far the largest drawbar pull of them all, which is about 41,000 pounds. Pretty decent for sure. You're starting to get into the 30,000 pound dozers in the other manufacturers to get that kind of drawbar pull. It is a little on the heavier side as far as even PSI, between 5.24 and 6.4 PSI, still substantially less than a human being. Ground clearance of about 14 inches. I believe it's actually the highest ground clearance of the entire bunch. It has a 50-gallon US fuel tank or 190 liters. Warranty, by far, from what I can see, the best out of all of these. 3-year, 3,000 hour, full machine factory warranty. Also, 3-year, 2,000 hour planned maintenance, which just like the Komatsu 250, 500, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 hours, full coverage maintenance. And finally, 3-year site watch. Case calls it full subscription. Site watch would be like the JD link for John Deere or the Vision link from Caterpillar. It monitors all your systems that you need, you know, your fuel consumption, your idle time, your productivity, your maintenance, these types of things, which allows you to do it remotely. It allows you to see if, in fact, your operators are utilizing the equipment to its maximum abilities and actually see the difference and possibly, you know, the pluses and minuses of your different operators. One could be more efficient with the fuel, but harder on the machine. One could be maybe a little harder on fuel, but easier on the machine. These types of things you can watch and monitor through these subscription-based softwares, which is an amazing addition. It just allows so much less headache as an owner-operator, as an owner of a fleet, and even as an operator. You can monitor your own machine and to see if someone else was operating it while you were away. You could see, did they do it better than I did? Did they make improvements on me? That way you could look and see and then possibly make improvements for yourself. Of course, they come GPS ready as well, ready for Trimble, Topcon, and Leica. Although Case does have software that does work better with the Leica system, comes directly from Case. So if you were to operate a Case machine, you might want to head towards the Leica just because Case has an agreement with Leica. It's a great system as well. Each one has their strong points, Leica, Topcon, and Trimble. They all have their strong points. They all have their weak points. I can make a video about those. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. Like I said, the tops by far are the warranty of the Case. I know Cases are usually generally pretty darn good on fuel as well. I mean, it's going to mean literally thousands, tens of thousands of dollars of the price of fuel nowadays. You want a machine that is very fuel efficient. That's what you want nowadays. Obviously, you want one that is durable as well. I would say that's probably Case's weakest point. In my experience with a Case is just their durability. They have struggled in the past. Now, I'm not saying that the modern machines are like that. They've come a long ways. They've struggled with ruggedness. They just couldn't handle a lot of abuse like a Caterpillar or a John Deere or a Komatsu. And again, any dealers out there, I'd be more than happy to come and do a review on your new machines, because I always love seeing the newest machines and seeing what they can offer, and then being able to show my viewers what those new machines are capable of. They have a 7-inch monitoring screen, which is fairly, dated. I would say the more information that you can see easily, the better for the operator. Now, I don't know the exact cost of these equipment, because that's another one of my gripes. I'm not going to lie, 2023, and I still have to phone and get a quote from the manufacturers. John Deere does have a build-in price, and you can add all the equipment and options you want, and then when you click build, you still have to request a quote. Automobile dealerships have been doing it for at least a decade. If you want to start bringing newer, younger customers in there who are going to be the ones buying your equipment, you might want to get with the times. I'm sorry if that's harsh. Unfortunately, I have a gripe with every one of these manufacturers' websites. They're horrific for finding information, honestly. They gloss over, try to highlight everything, but even in their brochures, they're ridiculous. They're still worried about width over body and those types of things, when most people would want to know what your GPS options are available and want to see, what the dash looks like and what the electronics are capable of, creature comforts. There's a whole bunch of specs that I think that are archaic anymore, and they're still not putting in modern technologies in the brochures. Again, all of the manufacturers, you might want to maybe hire some younger people. I don't know what you guys need to do. What's my favorite? What are my recommendations after going through all these dozers? What's my recommendations to you as a fleet owner for small dozers, or a owner operator, or even just an operator that's working for a business? Fuel economy, from my experience, the Komatsu D39 has the best fuel economy. Now, the Case was a close second, and the Caterpillar D3. I do have quite a bit of experience with the John Deeres, and I've always found them to be harder on fuel. In that regard, the Komatsu takes the win. Ease of operation, I hate to be biased, but it's been my experience that a Caterpillar is like the Rolls Royce of most heavy equipment. They always just have the operator in mind a little bit more than the other ones. Their seats are a little more comfortable. Their joysticks are placed and adjustable a little bit more. Like even on the larger dozers, you sit a little off center so that it's not so hard on your neck to look backwards. Only Caterpillar does that. I'm not sure why they're the only ones, but they are the only ones. Just little creature comforts like that have always just kind of pushed the Caterpillar as far as operator comfort to the top. The two 10-inch screens stacked on top of each other right in front of the operator. It just makes it that much nicer for an operator. You don't have to take your eyes off your dash and look up. You don't have to look over to the side. You don't have to look down to the left. Everything's just right in front of you. Your controls are intuitive. They're right there. So the win goes to Cat for sure there. Durability. The Cat, John Deere, Komatsu, Case. Durability, as I mentioned previously in this video, the Case I've found have struggled in this area, just maybe being a little bit lighter built. I'm not sure what the issues were with the Case. Now, they could have changed completely. If they have, I'd love to see it. Don't get me wrong. In my experience, I would actually probably go John Deere, Cat, Komatsu, Case. Serviceability, all of them, those are pretty much a draw. And then technology, I'm going to have to go with the Komatsu on this one as well, especially with that Komatsu Smart Construction dashboard, the ability to measure stockpiles and all those cut fills and that type of stuff. No one that I can see is the other brands is offering that as far as as an option even. So Komatsu's definitely taken the win for that. Their monitors, added on top of the dash, and their aged monitoring system dashboard, it's getting a little aged for sure, but it still does the job. So at the end of the day, today I am gonna have to basically say that my pick out of this, and I tried to go in here as unbiased as possible because I do enjoy all of these little dozers. I've enjoyed the John Deere 650s, and I've enjoyed the D3s, and I've enjoyed the D39s and the 850s, and even the 650 cases. But the 650 cases are actually substantially smaller than these ones, even though they share the same number. But I would have to give the win to Komatsu for myself personally. I just believe all around fuel economy, it isn't the top as far as, you know, ease of operation and operator comfort, creature comforts, but it isn't terrible by any means. I've spent many hours on one of those machines. The durability, which is, you know, right next to the other two, and then the technology, which is by far what I can see, because not only can you monitor your machine, but you can add all that additional stuff to your work site, which for doing estimates and bids and for bidding on new projects and stuff, I mean, that can be priceless to help, especially an owner operator or a smaller fleet. I want to thank you for your patience watching this video. I know it was a long one. I tried to narrow it down as best I could. There's just a lot of stuff to talk about with these dozers, and I appreciate you guys watching. If there's something you'd love to see a comparison with as far as heavy equipment and stuff goes, by all means, put it in the comments. Let me know. I love doing this type of stuff. And all the dealers out there, like I said, if you want to show off your machines to me, I'm more than happy to come and have a look and operate them and see what those machines are capable of. I don't think any one of these machines is junk by any means. I think, in fact, they're all, nowadays, they are amazing machines. I would personally have no issue operating any one of these. Owning might be a different story. I don't know, because I haven't got to fully embrace a couple of these machines. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one, and we will see you guys soon.